here. So, all right, you should all see the message that we are recording. All right, well, welcome officially to the Special Needs Catechist meeting. So let's start with prayer. I shared that with all of you. It is the our new parish theme, and we have a new prayer. So I'm going to invite us to, if you'd like to pray silently while I pray, maybe that would be easier than I'll have all our voices. And I'm going to go ahead and mute everybody else for now, and then I'll unmute. I'll allow us to all talk, and I got to take my glasses off. So let's begin with the sign of the cross. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. God of hope, we, the people of St. John Newman, ask you to be with us as we journey through the confusion and darkness of our times. We ask that you grant us the grace to rejoice in hope, endure in affliction, and persevere in prayer. Trusting in your love and mercy, we live each day with the confidence that you are ever guiding us to a closer union with you and with all creation. We ask this through the intercession of St. Jude, patron of hope. Amen. All right. And I believe Carol, hi Carol. Carol has joined us, so thank you. All right, I'm gonna try to figure out how to unmute everybody. And maybe I can't. I
unmuted myself, so maybe that's what.
Yeah, I unmuted myself too.
Okay, good. Okay, thank you. All right, so let's proceed. You guys have it down more than I do. I just wanted to remind us or cast our eyes forward on the agenda. If we have time toward the end of this call, we have a discussion question, and I thought it sometimes is helpful to put that question in the back of our minds as we proceed, and we can kind of think about it, you know, in the quiet moments of our call. And that discussion question is that, especially this year, some parents, and I think we can all who are parents on the line say most parents at some point in their lives, we really feel unequipped to provide religious formation for our children. And that's what the church asks us to do. The church asks us as parents to be the first and primary formers of our children. And that's certainly what we're asking our parents, especially in the special needs program this year, to do. And we are offering our help as catechists. So how can we as catechists help this year? So that's just kind of the question in the back of our heads. So we can move on with the agenda. The year ahead, I wanted to flip the agenda items. I had said that we would share, first of all, with the court, with the family catechist role. I'm going to flip that and just start with the core team role. I think because that kind of is the upper level, and then we'll drill down to the family catechist. So the core team consists, I mean, you know, of Terry, Karen, and Cheryl. And we've had to rethink that role a little because we are no longer spread. And so we're still kind of finalizing those roles, but there's some main things that those three ladies have been helping me with this past several months, and that we want to work ahead toward. The core team has been assisting me in forming goals and policies and procedures for this new program, this adapted program. The core team has also done a lot to adapt the Sophia Institute's curriculum to children with special needs. Casey, welcome. I'm so glad you could be here. So we're in the midst of the early part of the agenda talking about the core team role. We flip-flopped that, and we're going to hit the family catechist role later on. So core team has assisted me in forming goals and policies. They've helped in adapting the curriculum to children with special needs. They've prepared all the materials, in particular, the binder, the sacramental box, the prayer table or corner materials, and the prayer board materials. And they've gotten all those things to the families. The core teams also outlined the monthly family gatherings that we'll have online. They'll be very instrumental in leading and presenting those family gatherings. And eventually, when we get new family catechists or new core team members, I'll ask for their help in developing a training program that hits both on special needs and on catechesis, and in implementing that program. That's, I think, one of the big strengths of Spread that we will lose if we continue without them, that training. And then the core team also assists and help getting the word out about the program. We will eventually move on to recruiting more families, hopefully, either both within the parish and outside the parish at other parishes. And we will all contribute to sharing the successes of the program and communicate regularly with the parents of the program. We want to really make sure that we are, as a parish, providing help and assistance to parents in helping them form their children. How best we can do that, and that I think we can only really achieve that goal with communication. I know that Terry and Karen have been communicating a lot with families over the past several weeks and months, so I thought I'd open up the floor to them. Terry, if you want to start, I know you've talked most recently, I think, with many of the families. Do you want to share what you've learned, and then I'll ask Karen to add anything that she would like to add.
Yeah, okay. I did contact almost everyone. I dropped off the sacramental boxes to them, and I was able to talk with Shelly, Cody's mom, for a little. And Lorky picked hers up, but I did communicate with her that she's doing fine. And then it was not funny. I told Maxine's mom that I was going to drop it off. And I went there, rang the doorbell, and nobody answered. And then a couple days later, I did speak with Chris, and she said that she works as in the nursing field, and she came in contact with someone with COVID, so she had to isolate herself. She did not get the virus, nor did her family. You know, she's concerned about Maxine and her mom who live with her, but everybody's doing fine there. And they were in 2 weeks quarantine, so she said felt bad for her husband, who had to take care of all 3 women, you know, feeding them and, you know, making sure everything was well. So, but they're doing well, and she had nothing but praise about material and about the staff, and she's so happy that we are continuing this. Also Lorky's, they're so happy that we are continuing our faith formation. I got a chance to talk to Paul Sikorsky, and no relations, but they seem like a very, very nice family. And I didn't get a chance to talk with Maya's family, but Carol, I know you're keeping in contact with them. And I also spoke with Mary Lee. The only people that I really didn't get a hold of was the Clementes. I've reached out to them, texts and phone calls, and nobody has contacted me as far as, I did talk to Paul, and he said he would pick up the material, but I don't know if they have done that yet. As of the other day,
As of Wednesday, they had not. I was not in the office today, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was just a little concerned, that we haven't heard anything. And, so I did ask them if anybody needed help with getting started, if they had any information or concerns about the books. And they seemed like they were all on board, and they were reading, and they were excited to start today. And I informed them that we are here if they do need information, if they would like to talk to us, or they have my number, and if they have any questions or concerns, just to give us a call. And then should we talk about sharing the sweetness now or later after?
Let's go through, go through when we go through the family catechist role.
Okay. Okay.
Thanks, Terry. I just wanted to also give Karen an opportunity. Karen, if you've talked to anybody, is there anything in addition you want to add?
Not really, Teresa. My conversations or my emails, I tried to keep the team, as I was writing the program and adapting the program, tried to keep them through the months. I think I started in March, and would send periodic emails, just kind of updating, where we were, and connecting with Cheryl and Terry as best as we could, with the not being able to get together, as to what we were, where we were with the program, and where I was in developing the program. I did get a conversation with you in regards to whether or not all the parents had registered. That was some time ago. You gave me the names of the parents that had not, and I did call, and even some of our team. Yeah, Monica's kind of hard to get a hold of, but I was able to track her down. And,
good job.
I did get a lovely note from Miss Sarah. She was out of town on business, and I told her not to worry about it, that I was just trying to make sure that everybody was on board, and that we'd keep them informed with where we were. And I did get in touch with everybody else, actually, reminding them about registration.
Awesome.
Also discussed with them, with Vicki, and met with Mary Lee and Mary Ellen in regards to the change of the big catechist roles, and also had a lovely afternoon with Carol Kessler, who is going to now be Maya's catechist, which I'm thrilled to death, and went through the entire program that I had written for her, because she wasn't really, hadn't up to that point really been in the loop. And so we went through everything that I had put together, and that's kind of the sum total of where we were. Cheryl was my support system. Terry, by long phone conversations, but Terry had some personal issues that she was doing God's work, and so Cheryl kept me on the straight and narrow, and had my back, and actually probably could not have completed this whole effort if it hadn't been for her. And I'm just truly grateful to both Terry and Cheryl.
It's been a good team effort, and it's been very heartening for me to work with everyone on this call, to make sure that this ministry can continue, because of even though, despite the pandemic. So I'm really glad that we can. I think we can move on now to the family catechist role. One point. Everyone is now registered. All of our families are formally registered. So thank you for that, Karen. So we're just moving forward. You did all receive the family catechist description through email, and we did this because I think your role as helper catechist has changed so much because we are not on site. So we wanted to make sure that everyone was sort of on the same page. And a lot of this is synonymous or sharing what we're doing with the children in our regular needs program. I've grappled a little bit with my language. I don't want to call it regular program because special needs is regular too. Everybody has needs, so I'm just starting to call it regular needs. If you guys can think of a different moniker just amongst us, I would appreciate you sharing. But essentially, both programs, are focused on more focused on the parents this year, because we are asking the parents to do a lot of the formation rather than having their kids dropped off. So that first area in the catechist role description of mentoring one family with a child with special needs, and then the goals, those five steps, those are what I shared with the family catechist in the regular needs program, and that is that we need to recognize where parents are right now. They as we are over the top. Many of our actually probably all the high school kids who are in a regular high school are maybe they're doing some version of remote learning, and parents need to kind of see that through and help their children do that. Or the parents are, grappling with concerns about the pandemic. The children in this program, I think, are probably pretty high risk if they would contract the virus. I would imagine that their health needs would put them at high risk. So there's a lot of worry, concern about that on the part of our parents in the special needs program. So I think step one, forgiving, understanding, where our parents are. If we're not hearing back from them, it's not that they're unengaged from their faith, it's just that they have a lot on their plate. And this could be an opportunity for us to get to know our parents of the special needs children better. We can foster that part of the relationship. And we definitely have an opportunity to continue to pray for them and to follow up on the prayer. And then to send them lesson resources or faith ideas or, faith resources to invite them, to affirm them, to thank them for what they are doing in raising their children in faith. And so that is sort of the basis of the role of a family catechist. And as I said, in this case, it's really more of a role of supporting the parents. We definitely will be able to still have that relationship with the children, with the youth in the program. I'm hoping that those monthly family gatherings, the virtual gatherings, will help us with that. So expectations for you would be definitely attending catechist formation when you can. I will record things so you can see the video. We'd love for you as the family catechist to contact parents about twice a month, making that initial contact if you haven't already in early October, and kind of be in touch by phone or email or video conference, which I'll talk a little bit later about, throughout the year. ask for their prayer intentions. How are things going? Be that kind of connection to them that we are all lacking because we can't come to the parish. So be the parish connection to them. We will try to have monthly catechist sessions that will happen before the family's online session. So try to attend those. I can definitely record those as well. So if that's an issue, and invite and remind families about the upcoming family session. The first one is October 21st. So hopefully mid-October you can get a reminder out that they can be present. And then kind of identify what kind of has to be done in the lesson before the family session. And that all would be gone over when we meet at the catechist session, monthly catechist session. Just a note about video conferences. It's not really an expectation that you have them with your family. Some families are not comfortable with the technology. Some are fine with it. It might be a source of stress if you suggest it. You know, some kids are online or parents are online the whole day. They don't want another online call. So it's really going to be up to you. If you do it though, there's some diocesan guidelines. Be in a public room in your home as a background or a bookshelf, whatever, that sort of thing. And if you're in a private room or a bedroom, mask your background. Just kind of some basic safe environment guidelines. And record the call, especially if, well, in this case, you would be just you and the family. Record the call, and that is a diocesan policy, and then share that with me. So, I mean, if you have any questions about that, just let me know. And then the other thing that we did want to talk about is that bullet number 6 of sharing the sweetness. And Terry, I'm going to hand that off to you now so that you can kind of describe that, and we can talk about it as a group.
Okay. This sharing the sweetness is similar to the agape after we had our sessions. And we were trying to come up with an idea for if we were going to meet in person. And since all this has changed, sharing the sweetness is to be shared with our children and their families. And the program affords us the opportunity to share our time for the good and the pleasure of others. And it serves as a good role model for the responsible Christian and illustrate to the children of feeling joy when one receives in giving. So what we were going to do was, after we have our meeting, and then we are going to continue with the message from Jesus. And after that is all done, then we were going to close the meeting, and before we say goodbye, okay, now you could share the sweetness with your family. And what it was, we were going to, we have to kind of watch now, because some families don't want to have food delivered to them, or we just have to be very mindful of allergies and dislikes. And if somebody doesn't want to have something delivered to their home, we have to be mindful of that. And what we were going to do is everyone takes a turn delivering. It could be a baked good or pastry, and we were going to deliver it to the families. The original idea was that one of us that was going to, instead of getting the agape, we're going to get something sweet, and it's going to be delivered in a package, and it was going to be for the families, for the family themselves, like if they are doing the session with their mom and dad. And, so you would have a little treat for the whole family. And we wanted to make it something special. Either you can whip up something special or purchase something special, but we wanted to be packaged really, beautifully packaged, and deliver it to a day or two before the session. And as we were talking about it, Teresa and I were talking about it, we weren't sure how many families would be still wanting food, food delivered to their home. So I did ask the parents individually. I did talk to them, seeing if it would be okay to deliver something sweet and special for that special time after the meeting. And one family responded that they did not want something to deliver to their home, and then we could talk about that, who that is. Also, we were also wondering is it easier just to deliver it to our own special friend every month? We could, like Monica, you could deliver something to Maxine every month, something special. Or if we should take turns, like, delivering to we each take 1 month and deliver that special treat to all the other families. So that was another question, and we would like to get some input on that. Would it be easier for you to just deliver to your special child, or do you want to take 1 month and deliver to all the special friends?
Carol has her hand up. So Carol, I'll
Okay.
let you go. Go ahead.
Okay. My vote is to just have the catechist make food or have food delivered to their own family, just because of that personal relationship, and you can build on from month to month what was good and what, I don't know. I just like that relationship rather than, it would be much more of a burden, honestly, to find. I don't even know how many students that we're talking about here. I mean, I know you guys all know because you were all doing it for years together. And then to find out where they live and to drive that to all those people and to bake more or whatever, it just is a whole lot more work. So that would be my vote.
And I am willing to help deliver if we, vote the other way as well. And there would be 6 families to deliver to. And it's more, it's not actually.
Just a minute, please.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Karen. I'm sorry.
In the very beginning, when I put that program together, we had talked about one of us doing once a month. There were 7 of us, there were 7 families. That was just the very early stages of how this was going to work. As we got into it, and Terry was not involved in a lot of this conversation because of her family issues that she had. And I thought that I had discussed this with Terry, but Cheryl and I then talked about it and really felt that the best way to do it was for each one of us to deliver to our particular child each month. We would bring the treat to whoever our child was.
Okay.
So that was, and I apologize if that was not conveyed in the letter that I wrote that I included in the book, but that was something that when we talked about somebody driving to 7 different houses and
Yeah.
that
And I do apologize. Yeah.
well, I mean, I know we had a lot of conversations, Terry, but there was a lot to cover, and maybe I didn't mention this to you, or maybe it got lost in one of our conversations.
It might have gotten lost in the translate for me. I've
So
Sounds
this
like
As
we're all on the
everybody,
same
as
page.
everybody else, I probably
it's
miss
been
them.
difficult. It's
Yeah.
not like we could get together and sit around the table with a cup of coffee and go through these things and come up with a decision. So I apologize if in that letter that went with the graphic, if it wasn't clear, I apologize for that.
Okay.
That's okay, guys. I think we're all on the same page. So,
Okay.
yeah, we deliver to the individual child and family. I do have to share that, unfortunately, because of budget cuts, we had to drastically cut the budget by about $300,000. We are not able to reimburse you for this. So it would be a gift from yourself, and I appreciate that very much. Terry, I'll ask you to share individually with the catechist whose family begged off. That
Yes.
I'm sure it was because of some valid reason or
Right.
that sort of thing. Okay.
Right.
I'll just open it up in general. Are there any questions? Oh, one other thing first, though. The monthly catechist meetings. I forget who I was talking to about when we would schedule those. If it was Terry or Karen, what did we decide about that?
I don't know. It wasn't me.
Okay, Terry, I know I had talked to somebody about that.
We were talking probably like the Monday before the meeting. But I also was thinking possibly maybe the week before, like our first meeting's the 21st, maybe we can have something the week before the 21st, just so that we know that the parents have enough time, or they just to make sure they are doing what they are supposed to be doing and how everything is going.
Yeah,
And, maybe that first month, maybe in October, we could do it possibly the week before.
the week before, the Wednesdays before, often have the family faith gatherings for the regular needs program happening. But I think it would be helpful to have it at least a week lead time on that. So maybe
And
what
you
I
said
could do
the Monday. I thought you said
Yeah.
Monday because Wednesdays are bad for you because of
Yeah,
the family
maybe the
formation.
Monday of the week before. What I'll do is I'll send out a survey to everybody to see what kind of a regular timing of that
So
would be.
is that for a prep session? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, basically a prep session. Yeah, yeah. And I don't think it needs to be long. I don't think it needs to be a whole hour. I think we can work on the agenda for that. So so I'll send that out by email. So are there any questions or comments just on the what we've talked about so far? Anything that you see could be tripping us up, or any ideas or other concerns? Carol, you have your hand up again. Is that from before or?
No. So what you just said, I was hoping to find out is there a way that maybe the prep meeting doesn't have to be at 6 o'clock? I just feel like it's right in the middle of the dinner hour. So I never quite understood the timing. Didn't know the timing when I was first invited, but it's like, oh my, 6 o'clock, so I don't understand that. I would think that would be hard on families too. So at least obviously it's already been set. So for these meetings, is there another time that's available?
We could definitely adjust the time. Yes.
Okay.
I'll make that as part of the survey that I send out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Thank you.
No problem. Anybody else? Okay. All right. Just a note about what happens beyond this year. Honestly, I don't know if we will be returning to spread. I mean, we went away from them this year because they requested that we not adapt their program to an at-home process. I don't know if we'll be staying with a family-based at-home thing for special needs. But what I'm hoping you will do throughout this year is listen and you help us evaluate, and you know, we'll talk about this probably in after Christmas and in those, you know, in the winter months, about how successful this is, and you know what next year, what 2021 22 might look like. Although what I've heard is that we might still be dealing with the virus even in that year. So we'll see. You know, it's all brand new possibility. So, all right.
Can I
We
ask
do
a
have a,
question?
yes, go ahead, Monica. Mhm.
Is there some reason that we, other than the health and safety of the children and the families and all of us, a reason we couldn't go back to spread being the way it was because we opted out this year? Like,
We would not be prevented from going back to spread. No.
okay,
They, Karen told me they put us on sort of an inactive list at this point. But we could definitely go back.
okay, good. Thank you.
Yeah. We do have a few minutes. If anybody has some ideas about how we can, in particular this year, help our parents to bring faith to their children with special needs. Any ideas or anything that you might want to share? Karen, go ahead.
I did put together a task calendar for the parents.
Yes.
Kind of guided them along, which I think is very helpful. And also, the beginning of the agenda, have a list of everything that they need to have on hand for the meeting. That's the very first thing that's mentioned at the beginning of the agenda for each month. And I think that also will be very helpful. I think that we had some questions, Cheryl and I discussed about activities and whether the children should choose their own or whether that should be something that the core team kind of puts together as part of that package. And it is something that we need to discuss and make a decision. Just one thing that I'd like to throw out, and the reason that I included them in the program was that in adapting the part of each month's program that we're going to present to the children, there's many aspects of the monthly program. And some of those activities don't apply to the particular segment that was chosen to be included in to be adapted to their program. So that would be the only thing that we'd have to think about, since we're not working with from page 1 to page 15 in each month's program, and we're pulling things out, the most important things that we feel are things that the children can relate to and something that we can kind of break down and address their unique skill set. Then we would have to kind of work with that activity process that fits within that scope, if that makes any sense. So we might all want to kind of keep, keep our thoughts focused on that. The first 3 months are done, so it's something that we need to think about going forward with January through April.
Mhm.
How we're going to address that issue.
That's a great question. And I'm gonna be very interested to see how the October call goes, because I'm kind of leaning toward choosing activities so that we can focus that call, but we'll see.
Well,
And
I'm
I'm
sorry.
sorry, go ahead.
When the activity portion of the program is the point where the catechist connects with their friend, and they're asked to do the same activity that the child does and then compare. This is, let's see what you did. That's the interaction at that point. So in the event that we elected to go with the program where they could pick the one that they wanted, then there would have to be conversation between the catechist and that family prior to the meeting, so that that particular family, when they had their opportunity to discuss it with their child, they both were on the same page. So that is another little thing. It's not like we have it now where everybody's doing the same, as there's their own version of their interpretation of that activity. There'd be seven different activities, which in the essence of time may even kind of run us over our video time that's allowed too. So that was something else that we had discussed.
Yes. Terry, go ahead, you have your hand up.
With what Karen said, I had a parent that likes to be told what to do. He liked the format on how it was done, because they have so much going on during the day. Some have other children, so they like the idea that, okay, this is what I need to do, and this is and they like that idea. They like to be told what to do. Then it keeps them on track.
Good to know. Good to know. Carol?
Yeah, I have a question. Oh, here's am I supposed to turn my camera on? I have a question about just the technical, what I'm looking at right now.
Yeah.
Is different than when we had our meeting last week or whenever that was. So I don't like what I'm looking today. It's just the person who talks. Like right now, I'm looking at just Therese.
Yeah.
So is that because when I went on, they give you 3 choices and I just go with my browser? And is there other choices that you can make it so that you can see everybody? And do the parents know that? Because if I was a child with special needs now, I'd have no idea that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 other people on this call, because I'm just looking at Therese.
Yeah. I had shared, as people were gathering, that one of my goals for this week is to log on to a Microsoft Teams meeting on a browser, that basically on a computer that does not have the Microsoft Teams app loaded on, so that I can see what you're seeing now and provide some tips on how to change your screen and whatnot. There is somewhere a gallery view that you can switch to. I know where it is on my app, but I don't know where it is on the browser interface.
And I've been looking, because believe me,
Yeah.
I'm kind of familiar with all this stuff. And
Yeah, you are.
there
You are.
is, I don't see anything that says galaxy. There's no dots. There's nothing that gives me any sense of that. Because I've been looking for it, thinking, well, what? This is just not a clear image for a special needs child by any means.
Okay. For those that are on a browser right now, are any of you seeing a gallery view?
No, I went on the browser. And I just see whoever's talking.
Right.
Okay.
So I'm thinking I need to put the app in.
All right, I am going to
My
really
computer.
investigate that because that's a concern to me, for sure. All right.
Mhm. And yeah, now it's like, I know I was like a couple minutes late coming on tonight. And so it was like, I'm thinking, well, browser, you know, and if I would have thought through it, I guess last time I may have done the Microsoft Teams, because I think I did add it to but I didn't
Okay.
choose that this time. So maybe
Okay.
parents need to know, you will get, you know, you can come to my house, Teresa, and I'll show you what comes on my thing.
Yeah, yeah. I'm going to use my husband's laptop because that does not have Teams on it. And
Okay.
and
Yeah.
I'll set up a little meeting between myself and myself.
Yes. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Great.
Good point. Okay. One last point about the choosing of the activities. I think we lost a couple people. Is that we can choose the activities, but that doesn't mean that the parents can't do the other activities on their own, you know? I mean, so the parents can do additional activities for the month, the additional activities beyond what we're recommending, you know, so just a thought. All right, is there anything else that anybody has? Hanukkah, go ahead.
So if we're choosing the activities, then does that mean we're dropping off an activity as well as our little special treat too? So that we're all doing the same activity?
At this point, I believe most of the activities are supplies are kind of common, you know, they're kind of
Okay.
things that people would have in their home. So
Okay.
that it's not beyond our comprehension, though, that we could want to do something that we'd want to have everybody have something special for, and you know, so we can talk about that in the months to come too.
Okay, thank you.
And Cheryl?
It could be just as easy. I'm sorry, I was trying to figure out how to stick my hand up. I couldn't figure it out.
Okay, Casey, go for it.
It could be just as easy as dropping off a picture to color. You know, if we're coloring the same picture or something, that might be something that would work well.
Definitely. Cheryl?
The children's workbook has like all the activities in it, has pages that are meant to be like pulled out and cut out, and so it has that stuff that we picked in it already.
Yeah.
We have a couple catechists that still need to pick up their books because all the books came in. They weren't in when we were handing out the other information when we had the binders. So I will text the people who need to pick up the family faith, the parents guide, along with the activity book. And that's what Cheryl's talking about. The book has activities in there.
Yeah, those books are in our vestibule of the parish office entrance, so that would be great.
So
All right, I'm sorry, go ahead, Terry.
I'll text the people that need to pick them up. So
Okay, thank you. So just a reminder to complete the learning assessment form, because you have been on here for about an hour, and we'll definitely give you formation credit for that. So you could just, I think it's a fillable PDF file. You could type right in and email it to me, or print it out and handwrite and mail it in or drop it off. Also, I would love just an acknowledgement that you've read I'm trying to admit the people we lost. Just an acknowledgement that you did read the expectations for being a family catechist. So if you could email just an, okay, I read it, or again, print that out and sign it, that would be great.
And can I read something before we go?
Yeah.
From Matthew Kelly,
Yes.
which kind of brings this a little bit together. He sends these little quotes of the day, and this was last week. The environment changes, the culture changes, people change, but truth does not change. Faith, hope, and love do not change, and God does not change. So that's kind of what we're going through, right now, where all these changes, and we're like, oh my gosh, but God does not change, nor his love.
That's awesome. Thank you, Terry.
I love that, Terry. Thank
That's
you.
awesome.
Oh.
Terry, can you email that to me and I'll send that out to everybody?
I sure will.
Oh, that's wonderful. Okay. All right, I am going to end us in prayer, and I'm having, oh, hey, Sarah, good. I'm so glad you got back.
Sorry, my power went out and I lost my internet. Sorry.
Oh, no. I bet that's what happened with Karen, too, because now Karen's coming back, too. Yay.
Karen lives near where I do.
Yeah, did your power go out, Karen? Oh, that's crazy. Okay. Sorry that we missed the both of you. We just sort of talked a little bit about the books that are still waiting in the lobby for some of the catechists to pick up. And we're definitely, I'm going to make it my mission to figure out whether or not we're going to use that web-based interface and how to advise our parents and families about that web-based interface. And then Terry shared a very amazing quote from Matthew Kelly, but she's gonna email that to me, and I'm gonna email that out to everybody. So thank you for that, Terry. And then just a reminder, complete the Catechist Learning Assessment form, send that back to me, and then either email me or let me know it somehow that you've read the family catechist role description, and I appreciate that. So let's end in prayer, and I invite us just to pray all together out loud, a glory be. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Glory be to the Father,
To the Son, and to the Holy Spirit,
as it was
as in the beginning, is now, never shall be, world without end. Amen.
Amen. In the Father, Son, Holy Spirit.
Holy Spirit, amen.
Thank you all so much. I really appreciate that you devoted an hour to us here, and that you're continuing on with this ministry and joining this ministry this year. So blessings to you all.
Blessings to you too, Therese. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.